we got some rather unfortunate news now regarding the Olympics. So 10,000 volunteers out of a potential 80,000 volunteers, which are unpaid workers, they have withdrew from the Tokyo Olympics. Let me tell you something. They have literally dropped out from Tokyo Olympics. And this is a big thing. And this is 50 days until the game starts. So basically, there are for different reasons. According to this article, 10,000 of them have dropped out, and there's different reasons for it. Organizers said they dropped out because of worries about COVID-19. Few volunteers were expected to be vaccinated since most will have no contact with athletes or the key personnel. And here's an interesting fact that I'm reading in this article, Nate. Only about 2 to 3% of Japan's general population has been fully vaccinated. And they say right here, they say conversely, the International Olympic Committee expects at least 80% of athletes and residents of the Olympic Village to be fully vaccinated. And there is a quote from the organizers. They said, and I quote, "We have not confirmed the individual reasons organizers." This is what the organizers said in the statement. In addition to concerns about the coronavirus infection, some dropped out because they found it would be difficult to actually work after checking their work shift or due to changes in their own environment. And then organizers also said the loss would not affect the operations of the postponed Olympics. And yeah, Nate, this is a big deal because volunteers are a big part, and they are a big reason to the reason why the Olympics run. You know, because again, the Olympics are so expensive, but these volunteers, they actually volunteer and they work for free to really help run the Olympics. And a study done for the IOC on volunteers at the 2000 Sydney Olympics said their value was at least $60 million for 40,000 volunteers. So that's how much their value is if they were to get paid, but they're volunteers, so they don't. That's for 40,000 volunteers. So again, 50 days left until the Olympics start. I'm extremely excited about it. And right here it says support for the Olympics continues to lag in Japan with 50 to 80%, depending how the question is phrased, saying the game should not open on July 23rd. So yeah, Nate, and the spending for the Olympics this year has been crazy in Tokyo. So Tokyo is officially spending $15.4 billion to organize the Olympics, and several government audits say it's much more. All but 6.7 billion is public money. The IOC's contribution is about 1.5 billion. Now, you know what, Nate? I'll start off with this first, but before I start, I just want to say the source for this article is ESPN Associated Press or ESPN AP. So let me start off with this first, okay? First of all, I got to respect the volunteers' decisions who withdrew. I got to respect it because everybody got their own different decisions. You know, I'm not the type of guy to be like, you shouldn't have dropped out, blah, blah, blah. Personally, if it was me and I had the opportunity to go work at the Olympics, I would take advantage of the opportunity fully. I would not look down on that advantage. But in this type, obviously we're kind of exiting the pandemic, but in Japan, it is still serious. So I understand why some of them are doing it. Me personally, I would have stayed. You know, I would have did whatever it took to stay in these Olympics because working for the Olympics is a once in a lifetime opportunity, Nate. Whether you're getting paid or not, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And that's something that's one of the things I have dreamed about doing in my life is working in the Olympics, going to a different country and seeing all these world-class athletes. Because we're here in the United States. We see the athletes that play in the United States and they're great athletes, but we never seen the athletes that are overseas. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are in a bunch of different countries. I would love to have that experience. Okay. And again, it really is unfortunate. As for the organization saying, or the organizers saying that this is no effect, I hope you're right. Okay. Because these Olympics need to run. You are 50 days away from the actual Olympics. And the one thing that I do not want to see from these Olympics is it being a complete dump show. That's not what the Olympics deserve, okay? The Olympics is the biggest stage in sports, period. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. That is the biggest stage in sports. And these are world-class athletes. These are the best athletes around the world representing their country. They deserve better than a poor show. So I hope it's not really going to affect them. I hope so. Because I'm expecting some good Olympics, Nate, because I always look forward to the Olympics. I always watch every single sport. I always switch back and forth to see which team's winning, which team's losing, who got the gold. I always keep track of it, especially the leaderboard when they show you the countries that have the most gold and everything like that. I always keep track of that. But again, it is real, you know, I mean, it really does suck because these are volunteers who are not getting paid, who are volunteering to work, and a lot of them are just dropping out. But again, they have their own reasons, and I gotta respect that, to be honest with you. So, with that being said, to the volunteers who have withdrew from the Olympics, I wish you guys the best of luck in whatever the future holds for you. As for the volunteers and the people still working for the Olympics, again, I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'm asking you, I am begging you, make this a good show because these athletes deserve it, and the Olympics itself, the stage itself, deserves a good show. So, with that being said, I wish everybody the best of luck, and we'll see what happens come July 23rd.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck to the volunteers. Best of luck to everybody. Going into the Olympics and competing in them or working for them. Um, yeah, Mario, 50 days before the event, and 10,000 out of the 80,000 volunteers drop out, and they say it's not going to affect them. Like you said, I hope they're right. Like you said, and the reason why I say I hope they're right is because to find 10,000 people in 50 days, I get you're not paying them, so the opportunity probably people are gonna, how many people are probably gonna go out there and work, but you still got 50 days left before the event starts, and to find 10,000 additional people to replace those 10,000 people that have dropped down, it's not going to be easy because you got to put them, you got to show them where they're going to work, where that person's going to work, and things like that. It's a whole process, and to do it with 10,000 people within 50 days, I hope they can do it. I'm not sure if they'll do it within that time. I couldn't tell you. I don't know if they're going to work with the 70,000 remaining. I can't tell you these things, but like you said, I hope they're right. I hope this doesn't affect them, and if it does, then I don't know what's going to happen because this Olympics has been, it was supposed to happen last year, but because of the pandemic, it wasn't able to. So now we expect a lot out of it. The next Olympics is in next year, right? The Winter Olympics, or is that pushed back as well?
I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. I want to say that
Yeah,
was pushed back too, but I'm gonna look it up anyway.
yeah, because I know there's a Winter and a Summer Olympics. Those happen 2 years in between each other, but I'm not sure if that was pushed back or not. But if not, then there's that, and then there's the 2024 Olympics in France, and then the next Winter Olympics in 26 and then 28. It's the LA Olympics. U.S. is hosting the Olympics again.
Yeah, the Winter Olympics are taking place February 4th, 2022.
All right, so it is scheduled to be all right. So it's not being pushed back. So yeah, you got the next Olympics, then you got 2024 Olympics. I believe that's France, if I remember correctly.
20,
Then you got the
2024 Olympics, Nate,
yeah.
are going to be in Paris. Yeah, Paris
Yeah, so they're going
2024.
to be in France. Then you got the 2026 Olympics, then the 2028 Olympics, which is going to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
So yeah, Mario, this better live up to the expectation. And we don't have to wait much longer for the next Olympics to start. But again, this has been delayed for so long only because of COVID, and that's not really their fault. But the expectation better be there. You know what I mean?
right. Let me tell you something though. If they're looking for volunteers, look no further. Like I love to go to the Olympics. I'd love to work for them in Tokyo. I'd love it. Okay, whether it's Tokyo, whether it's Paris, I'd love to do it. That's something I've always wanted to do. So if they're looking for volunteers, look no further.
I would go if I had the money to, but yeah, I don't. So, but anyway, going back to the Olympics, yeah, I hope this doesn't affect them. I hope they find workers to replace these volunteers and stuff like that. And if they do, I do wish them the best. I wish them the best of luck regardless. Same thing with the athletes. I wish them the best of luck in their competition, representing their countries. And I can't wait for it. It starts next month, and I can't wait to see what happens.